Hello everyone. It's been a while since I've made one of these dream jars, and as you know, the dream jars always come out as very raw. When I did the dream jar for Visitor, there was a lot of problems, to the point where my mental health started kicking in, and I didn't think it was appropriate for me to continue filming. I am going to post later photos of what the jar looked like and the end result. Also, I made another jar which I'm also going to do an update on called Closer. You'll see the result of that one as well in a couple of minutes. The dream jar that I'm going to do today is for a panto. The panto this year is Cinderella. Check out www.woodhouseplayers.co.uk to check it out. After a disaster, as you know, I learned from my mistakes, and I'm still learning what does and what doesn't fit in jars. Now, I've got a random amount of size jars. So if this doesn't work, there is a backup. But I did originally order a pumpkin. The problem, pumpkin doesn't fit the jar. Or rather, it won't go properly inside the jar. Not to worry, because I always have backups for my backups. And this is something that I've wanted to try for a while. And the reason I wanted to try it is because if this works, then we could have a much more easier way of doing future jars rather than spending them buying models. I still want to get solid models to it, because the more I practice with this, you'll see that the less I start using models like this. Now, I have bought 2 models for this jar. One is the mouse. In fact, we've got 3 mice. We've got a white one, we've got a grey one, and we've got a little black one. And we have the most important part of the jar. We have, some of you who've seen this on Facebook may have already seen this. We have the glass slipper. Now you notice the glass slipper is quite small. Again, that was my fault marketing wise, but considering Cinderella's feet is quite small, it actually might benefit this pump. What I'm going to make today. So what I'm going to make today is the bit that is missing, apart from the base, which I'll make in a future video, and that's the pumpkin itself. Now, because I'm still experimenting on how many this is going to be on this type of material, we're going to use the 3 runs. So we're going to make this as thick as possible. Just to try and work out how many we would need for future reference. Also, because this is going to be quite a decent sized pumpkin, I reckon 3 is going to probably be a little bit too much, but we're going to see. Luckily, this is oven baked clay, so this will be baked, so you'll see the result of the oven bake, because I'm not going to bore you by showing you the actual baking process itself, although I may do a quick sneak video of what it looks like in the oven. That may happen, I don't know. So the tools that we're going to use for it, I'm going to use this smoother. I'm going to use this edge for detail, because you'll notice on this pumpkin they've got grooves on them. I'll bring that closer. This is going to be used to create the grooves. And we've got a knife to cut with. We're going to also use this tip so that we can start moulding and taking the shape. I think the others are going to be redundant for now. So let's begin. Just got to tilt you down slightly, so you're not going to see. You're probably going to just see my mouth moving. Hello. So first we're going to start. So let's cut the amount that we need. So let's get these 3 pieces out. I was warned that this would stick to the actual clay bit. I need to get some cling film for that. So we've got our bit, and what we're going to do is I'm going to turn it into a sausage. It's a pumpkin, I know, I'm supposed to round it into a ball. But the reason I'm going to turn it into a sausage is because I am hoping, against all hope, that if we stretch the clay a bit, we might end up with a little bit more of a bigger piece. We might need another layer, thinking about it. Maybe I should use the whole layer. Now, this is quite good modelling clay. Ooh, managed to stretch it out a little bit. And we've kind of got, this will be perfect on this size here, but it doesn't really stand out, so I'm going to get another piece. In fact, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to use the whole of this. One thing I need around here is a bin. Stick that in there for now. So we're going to use the whole of the orange, just because we're going to need a little bit more of a bigger pumpkin, because I want this to stand out a little bit. So we've got a little bit more of a pumpkin there. It's still quite small, but it doesn't, you know, dwarf the glass slipper. And we've got enough, the reason why it has to be quite small is because we need enough space to put the mice on. Although the mice do look slightly bigger than the pumpkin, which is going to be a bit of a problem. However, I don't, even if I was to use all the magic in the world, I doubt we'll get a pumpkin far much more bigger than what we've got right now. Right, so let's use this and squeeze it a little bit, because you'll notice it's more of an oval shape. So let's squash it down so it's a little bit more oval shaped. Move it out a little bit. And let's smooth the edges down. Maybe use this material instead. Try and smooth the edges down. Like so. There we go. Ooh, it's stuck to the table. It's not good. Stuck again. Maybe I should use a different table. Let's squash it down. We've got a little bit of a pumpkin shape, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a little dip right in the middle. So we've got, if I show you, if I can get this out, I'm never going to become an anamorpha. Got a slight problem that it keeps sticking to the table. Maybe if I put this, there we go. That's still sticking a little bit. What we're going to try, it's going to be a little bit misshapen, but there's very little we can do about that. So we've got the basic pumpkin shape. We're just going to stretch it out a little bit, keep the roundness as much as we can, while at the same time let's push that in. So we've got a nice little curved dip, and now what we're going to do, it keeps sticking to, this is going to be a little bit of a problem if it keeps sticking, but let's cut in as much as we can. In fact, I'm going to keep this in my hand because it keeps on sticking. Let's cut the grooves in now. In fact, as we move the grooves, I'm moulding, bending it inwards, and as you can see, it is actually developing into kind of a pumpkin-like. Actually, I'm saying you can see it. Let me bring it a little bit closer so you can see. You'll notice, just by cutting the groove alone, it's actually stretching the clay, which is actually making it a little bit more effective. Let me just squeeze that in slightly. I'll just do the groove again. Just so it's nice and even like so. Stretch that out a little bit, so it's not too obvious of a hole. Maybe push that in slightly. Push that inwards a little bit, and maybe a little bit of a push down. Just quickly do the grooves again. It's a little difficult when you can't actually. I'll show you again. I push it down like so. So that creates the kind of curvature that we need. And we're going to push down here in the middle as a little bit of a starting point. And then what we're going to do is, as we do the grooves, because I'm going all the way round, we want it to be as detailed as we can. It's actually stretching the clay quite nicely, creating that kind of curvature effect. Just push inwards slightly, so you get that kind of pumpkin-like feel, like so. And that's actually not quite a badish shape. Maybe push in slightly so it doesn't look like too much like it's. There we go. It's not actually bad for a first try. I'm just going to do the grooves a little bit less deeper, like so. We've got grooves like so. So we've got now sort of little pumpkin. Now I'm going to turn it round and I'm going to sort of tidy up the bottom a little bit, squeeze it down. We've got a little bit more of an oval shape. Redo some of the curves like so. And there you go. That's not actually pretty much of a bad pumpkin. I was worried it might turn into an orange, but it's actually quite a nice little pumpkin. Now the way this clay works is it goes in the oven for 15 minutes or 30 minutes, and it goes rock hard. So because it goes rock hard, and because I don't trust how I've done this, I'm actually going to do the grooves a tiny little bit more detail than it actually recommends. The reason being is I've used clay in the past, and I remember that when clay hardens, a lot of the time it also thickens. And if you've ever seen dough, when you shape dough, you'll notice that a lot of the time people tend, there we go, batten it a little bit so it doesn't look too much like an orange. There we go. One pumpkin. So I'll do. So what happens is that you'll notice that when they shape the dough, they deliberately do the spaces a lot more exaggerated. Now the reason that is that when the dough expands, it becomes thick. And if they did the spaces too small, so for example, if they ever did a face in the dough, you'll notice that the nose is always more exaggerated. So you've got the nose here and you've got the eyes a little bit more spaced out from where they're meant to be. Now this is because when the dough hardens, the nose pushes forward and you'll notice the eyes slightly sunken in a little bit. And this is kind of what we're going to play with. It's stuck to the knife. With this clay figure. So the grooves are slightly more exaggerated now. So we've got the pumpkin. So this is now going to harden in the oven. I just need to borrow the rules a little bit. I apologise for rubbing my nose. I've got a cold. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this in the oven and we move on to stage 2, which is I need to make the base for the jar. I also need to wash the jar. So that's going to be in stage 2. So join me as we have a little bit more fun. Until then, keep the magic in your fingertips and I'll see you around.